Here today, I just want to tell you some few things. I just want to inform about, should I call it, I just want to pass some word of knowledge, word of wisdom to you. Every one of us on this earth, every one of us on this earth believe on one thing or the other. Whether you believe that there is God or not, you believe in something. That means that you are believing that there is no God. You believe in one thing or the other. That means you might believe that man will end like that. That man will end like that. You believe in one thing or the other. You might not believe that Jesus is the Son of God. But that does not mean that Jesus is not the Son of God. You might not believe that Jesus is the light. But that does not mean that Jesus is not the light. You might not believe that Jesus has died and resurrected. But that does not mean that Jesus has not resurrected and he did not die. You may not believe that God can duplicate himself to live as a human being. But that does not mean that God did not have that ability. Why will God take permission from you? Why will someone say that this is how it must be when I also have access to that very God? If you don't believe that Jesus will come again and rapture his church, take back his people, that does not mean that it will not happen. Your choice and your opinion does not contribute anything. In fact, for you, whether you believe that God, you believe in God, you then believe in God, it doesn't mean that God is not God. If you don't believe that Jesus died for the sin of the world, died for the sin of mankind, and Jesus is standing as the mediator, reconciling men to God, that does not mean that Jesus is not the reconciler. It's not the one standing as a mediator. If you don't believe that Jesus is the way, the truth, the way to life, the way to eternity, if you don't believe, that does not mean that Jesus is not the way. If you don't believe that Jesus is the life giver, because he said, I will give them life. Jesus, will give them life. That is what Jesus said. If you don't believe, it does not mean that Jesus is not the giver of life. He said that he is the truth. And when Jesus was speaking with Pontius Pilate, he said to him that those that know the truth will know my doctrine and understand. And the governor answered, what is the truth? The truth is not head knowledge. The truth is not by studying. The truth is revelation. The truth is the giving understanding of God to man to know who Jesus is. The truth is what comes from inside God to men that seek to know. So you didn't buy it because the philosophers say in this kingdom, in this life, we didn't serve God because the philosophers say, know where you stand. But I want to tell you something. If you don't believe that Jesus is the Lord today, you will believe when judgment comes. If you don't confess Jesus now, you will confess him when it is late. Christianity, you might call Christianity, is come today. But when that day comes and realize that it's not scam, you know where you will find yourself.